The apartment was quiet, bathed in the warm, golden light of a late afternoon sun that streamed through sheer curtains. On the surface, everything appeared normal. Neatly stacked books, the faint aroma of vanilla from a burning candle, and the soft hum of a playlist Isabella had made for their cozy evenings. But beneath that calm, I felt a tension I couldn't shake, one that had been with me for as long as I could remember. My name is Adrian, though I've always felt that the name only captured part of who I am. On the outside, I was a 28-year-old graphic designer with a modest apartment in the city, a stable job, and a girlfriend who adored me. On the inside, there was a side of me that only emerged when I was alone, a side that longed for silk dresses, high heels, the subtle brush of lipstick against my lips, and the thrill of becoming someone entirely different. I first discovered this part of myself during my late teens. It started innocently, almost accidentally. A skirt borrowed from a friend, a swipe of mascara, a trembling curiosity about how it felt to look into a mirror and see someone I wasn't supposed to be. Over the years, it became a ritual, a secret sanctuary I couldn't resist. Some nights, it was passion. Other nights, necessity. Especially when the world felt too heavy with expectations, or when I needed to escape the suffocating confines of masculinity that never quite fit me. Tonight, though, was different. Tonight wasn't just any evening. Tonight was Isabella's cousin's wedding, a lavish affair in the city's finest hall, a night full of families, dancing, and expectations. And most dangerously, tonight was the first time I would have to balance my secret life with my public life in a way that could explode if I misstepped. Isabella and I had been together for 3 years, and in many ways, our relationship was perfect. She was warm, perceptive, and endlessly affectionate, with a sense of humor that could lighten my darkest moods. Yet there was a part of me that feared her discovering my secret. I had come close once or twice, catching myself staring a little too long in the mirror, noticing her playful teasing about my obsession with fashion. But I had always managed to deflect, to smile, to keep the walls intact. My secret was mine alone. Sitting on the edge of my bed, I ran my hands over the delicate fabric of a dress I had carefully selected weeks ago for a private moment later tonight. It was a deep crimson, flowing and soft, with a neckline that both thrilled and terrified me. I had paired it with black stilettos that clicked audibly against the floor, even when no one was there. Each piece was a promise, a whisper of the dual life I led. I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. The reflection was a mixture of anticipation and fear. I could see Adrian, the man Isabella knew, and I could also see her, the woman I became in secret, bold and unrestrained. My heart raced as my fingers lingered over the makeup kit I had hidden beneath the bed. Foundation, eyeliner, mascara, and lipstick, tools of transformation that could make me unrecognizable, yet uncomfortably exposed if discovered. The city beyond my window pulsed with life. Car horns, laughter, the distant strains of music. It all felt like another world. I felt the weight of expectations pressing down on me. The wedding wasn't just an event. It was a stage where my two identities might collide, a night where the wrong move could reveal everything. And yet, the thrill of it was intoxicating. I had always lived for these moments, where danger and desire danced hand in hand. Isabella's voice interrupted my thoughts, soft and cheerful as she entered the room to check on me. "Hey, Adrian, you ready to go?" she asked, her eyes bright with excitement. I smiled, tucking the dress away and slipping back into the comfortable clothes she expected me to wear. My heart thudded, hiding a storm beneath the calm. "Yes, just finishing up some work," I lied, my voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through me. She kissed me lightly on the cheek, oblivious to the secret that lay hidden, locked away in drawers and under the bed, waiting for the night to fall and for me to slip into another self. As we left the apartment and stepped into the bustling streets, I felt the tension coil tighter in my chest. The wedding hall glittered in the distance, and I couldn't help but wonder how long I could keep the balance. The truth of who I was, and the danger of being discovered, loomed like a shadow behind the bright chandeliers and laughter of the night. It was supposed to be just another celebration, another night to smile and blend in. But deep down, I knew this night held a secret that could shatter everything. And in the quiet moments before the doors opened and the music started, I couldn't shake the feeling that the wedding night was going to reveal more than anyone expected, including me. The city streets glimmered with the last remnants of sunset, streetlights flickering on like tiny stars guiding our way. Isabella walked beside me, laughing lightly at a story she'd just remembered from work. Her hand brushed against mine now and then, and I felt the warmth of it settle in my chest. Yet, beneath the ordinary comfort of the evening, a storm brewed inside me. Every step I took toward the wedding hall made the tension tighter, coiling like a spring ready to snap. The moment we entered the grand hall, the air shifted. Chandeliers sparkled above, draping the marble floors in golden light. Guests mingled in gowns and tuxedos, glasses clinking with champagne. I felt both exhilarated and alien, an outsider hidden in plain sight. This was the perfect place for a crossdresser like me to hide, or for my secret to be exposed. As Isabella greeted her relatives, I drifted to the edge of the room, scanning the crowd. My eyes caught glimpses of mirrors, reflective surfaces that seemed to mock me. For a moment, I imagined slipping away to the restroom, locking the door, and letting the transformation begin. I could almost feel the soft brush of makeup against my skin, the subtle thrill of lace brushing my thighs, the click of heels that made my heart pound in sync. But fear was never far behind. What if someone saw me in that moment? What if Isabella's cousin, or worse, Isabella herself, walked in unexpectedly? The thought sent a shiver down my spine. And yet, the desire to become her, the woman who could exist without constraints, was irresistible. After a few minutes, I excused myself politely, promising Isabella I'd be right back. The restroom loomed ahead like a sanctuary. Locking the door, I leaned against the cold tile wall, taking a deep breath. This was it, the moment to shed Adrian and become someone else entirely. I began with a foundation, spreading it carefully across my face, watching my masculine features soften under the creamy veil. My heart raced with every brushstroke, a mix of excitement and terror. Then came the eyeliner, mascara, and a touch of blush. With each application, I felt more vulnerable yet more alive. Choosing the dress was an act of daring. I had brought a gown just for moments like this, a deep crimson that clung in all the right places and flowed elegantly at the hem. Slipping into it, I felt a surge of power and fear simultaneously. I adjusted the straps nervously, aware of how different I looked, how different I felt. The heels followed, each step a tiny victory, each click echoing in my chest. The mirror reflected a stranger. Yet it was a stranger I knew intimately. She had Adrian's eyes but carried an entirely different aura, bold, mysterious, and undeniably feminine. I ran my hands along the fabric, savoring the sensation, and whispered softly to the reflection, "You're ready." It wasn't just the physical transformation that thrilled me, it was the emotional one. The way I carried myself now was lighter, freer, yet charged with a dangerous edge. Every nerve tingled with anticipation. And yet, the fear lingered. What if Isabella came looking for me? What if someone recognized me? The hall outside, full of laughter and music, became a place of both temptation and threat. I left the restroom cautiously, glancing around. Guests were laughing, dancing, unaware of the secret that moved among them. I took a tentative step toward the main hall, feeling the eyes of strangers graze me unknowingly. The adrenaline surged. Every smile I gave, every graceful movement I made, was both performance and self-preservation. Then came the first close call. As I maneuvered around a cluster of guests, Isabella appeared, her laughter echoing across the marble floor. My heart leapt. She hadn't seen me yet, but what if she did? My breath caught, and I froze for a fraction of a second, the sound of the music and her voice mingling with the pounding of my heart. Luckily, she turned away before our paths crossed. Relief washed over me, but it was fleeting. The danger was real, persistent, and deliciously intoxicating. Every moment became a delicate balancing act. How much could I reveal without risking discovery? How long could I maintain this dual existence without losing control? As the evening wore on, I navigated the hall with careful precision. Conversations became minefields. A casual glance from a guest could expose me. Each step was calculated, each gesture rehearsed. Yet, beneath it all, exhilaration thrummed like a hidden pulse. The thrill of being caught and the desire to see how far I could push my secret kept me moving, aware, and alive. Then came another challenge. Isabella's cousin, a young woman with sharp eyes and a teasing smile, approached. "You look different tonight," she said, curiosity laced with amusement. My stomach nodded. I forced a casual smile, adjusting my hair. "Just felt like trying something new," I replied, my voice steadier than I felt. Her smile lingered, probing, and for a terrifying moment, I imagined her seeing through the guise, recognizing the woman I had become. The night progressed with a series of small trials, accidental reflections in polished surfaces, comments about my posture, whispers that seemed just a little too knowing. Each moment tested my nerve, forcing me to balance fear and desire, secrecy and expression. The hall, with its glittering lights and joyful music, became a stage where my inner world and public persona collided. Finally, I found a quiet corner, hidden behind a decorative pillar, and allowed myself a moment to breathe. My reflection in a nearby window reminded me that Adrian still existed somewhere beneath this persona, yet tonight, she, the woman in crimson, was in control. The duality of my existence pressed on me, exciting and terrifying in equal measure. Every heartbeat was a countdown. Every glance from Isabella, every laugh of a guest, every soft click of my heels could be the moment that revealed my truth. And in the back of my mind, a persistent thought lingered. Tonight wasn't just about a wedding. Tonight was a test of identity, courage, and the consequences of desire. The suspense built with every passing hour. The hall's laughter became background noise to the storm in my chest. My secret life had never felt so precarious, so thrilling, and so close to unraveling. And yet, the danger made the transformation more intoxicating. Every step, every movement, every breath was charged with anticipation, and I knew the climax of this night, whatever it might bring, was approaching. The music swelled in the grand hall, the laughter and chatter of guests forming a distant backdrop to the storm raging inside me. I could feel her, the woman in crimson, every inch of my being alive and alert. But the thrill of transformation had become tangled with an unbearable tension. Every reflective surface, every glimmering decoration, every whisper of fabric against skin was a potential trigger for exposure. Then it happened. I heard Isabella's voice, soft yet unmistakable, calling my name with a hint of curiosity. "Adrian? Are you around here somewhere?" My stomach dropped. My pulse raced. I was in the corner, hidden behind a decorative pillar, my reflection visible in a polished surface nearby. If she saw me like this, dressed, made up, poised in heels, it would change everything. I froze, weighing my options: retreat to the restroom and risk being noticed, or remain hidden and hope she passed by. Before I could move, a sudden shadow fell across me. Her cousin, the one with sharp eyes, had returned, her gaze suspicious and calculating. "Funny," she said softly, tilting her head. "I thought I saw someone, but maybe it was just a trick of the light." My mind raced. Every instinct screamed at me to stay calm, to play it cool, to avoid eye contact. I smiled nervously, adjusting my posture, and whispered a vague response. She didn't linger, thankfully, but the encounter left a prickling heat of panic across my skin. I moved slowly, trying to merge with the crowd while keeping my movements natural. But the suspense was unbearable. Every laugh from Isabella, every accidental reflection, every whispered comment from a guest was a potential threat. My heart hammered in my chest like a drum signaling my impending doom. Then, the worst scenario I could imagine unfolded. Isabella turned the corner and froze. Her eyes widened as she took in the sight before her. Me, standing tall in crimson, my hair perfectly styled, makeup flawless, heels clicking against the marble floor. For a moment, neither of us moved. Time slowed, the wedding hall fading into a blur around us. Adrian, she breathed, a mixture of shock, confusion, and something I couldn't immediately name. The air between us was electric. My secret, carefully hidden for years, was now exposed in a single, unguarded moment. I opened my mouth to speak, to explain, but words failed me. My heart pounded, my palms were slick with sweat, and the very heels that had given me power now felt like shackles. She stepped closer, hesitant, her eyes searching mine. Why didn't you tell me? The room seemed to shrink around us. I wanted to run, to vanish into the crowd, but every instinct of my secret self, herself, urged me to stand, to claim this identity boldly, even in the face of exposure. I didn't know how, I admitted finally, my voice trembling. I've never told anyone. Her gaze softened slightly, though confusion lingered. But tonight, at the wedding, I swallowed hard, the crimson dress clinging to me like a second skin. I couldn't resist. It's part of me. It's who I am when I'm alone. And I thought I could keep it hidden. Isabella's cousin returned, noticing our tense exchange. She leaned in slightly curious. "Everything okay?" she asked, oblivious to the emotional storm raging between us. I forced a polite nod, though my stomach churned with the fear of further exposure. Then, a sudden mishap escalated everything. My heel caught on the edge of a decorative rug. I stumbled, grasping at nothing but air. The dress slipped slightly, revealing more than I intended. Panic surged through me. Isabella reacted instinctively, grabbing my arm to steady me. Her touch was both grounding and terrifying. Grounding because it reminded me of the love between us. Terrifying because she now had proof of my secret. I'm sorry, I gasped, my voice barely audible over the music. I didn't mean. Her eyes softened again, but I sensed a battle inside her, a mix of concern, surprise, and something unspoken. "It's okay," she said finally, though her tone carried layers of confusion and tension. But the climax didn't stop there. A phone rang, a loud, jarring interruption that drew attention from nearby guests. Isabella's cousin answered, laughing nervously, and turned to me, a teasing grin spreading across her face. "Well, now I know why you've been acting so mysterious tonight," she said, her voice dripping with curiosity. I froze. The walls of secrecy I had built for years were crumbling. I had been caught fully, undeniably. And yet, amidst the panic, a strange exhilaration coursed through me. Every moment of vulnerability, every heartbeat of suspense, felt like proof that this part of me, her, was alive and real. Isabella took a step closer, her hand still on mine. "Adrian, or whoever you want to be," she whispered, her voice trembling slightly. "Why didn't you tell me?" I swallowed hard, tears threatening to spill. I was scared. Scared you to leave me. Scared you'd judge me. I didn't want to lose you. The tension in the room was palpable. Guests murmured softly, some glancing our way, sensing the emotional storm unfolding. And then, in that fragile, heart-pounding moment, a wedding photographer appeared, camera in hand, snapping photos of the couple nearby. My eyes widened in terror. One click, one flash, and the secret I had guarded for years could be captured forever, immortalized in a public photograph. Instinctively, I ducked, pulling Isabella down slightly with me. The photographer laughed, thinking it a playful gesture, but my pulse raced. This was the ultimate test: exposure, fear, love, and desire all converging in a single heartbeat. Isabella's eyes met mine, searching, questioning, yet tinged with an emotion I couldn't decipher fully. Was it acceptance? Shock? Confusion? Or something deeper, something that could change the course of our relationship forever? The music swelled, the laughter continued, and the world around us seemed oblivious to the drama unfolding in that corner of the hall. But inside me, The duality of Adrian and the woman in crimson collided, creating a whirlwind of identity, fear, and exhilaration. I realized, in that moment, that tonight wasn't just about a wedding. Tonight was about revelation, about honesty, about the delicate line between fear and freedom. And as Isabella held my hand, the secret I had guarded for years now danced in plain sight, illuminated by the chandeliers, the flashing cameras, and the unforgiving gaze of the world around us. But the ultimate truth, the shocking revelation that would change everything, had yet to fully emerge. Because as I looked into Isabella's eyes, I sensed that the wedding night would leave more than emotional scars or confessions. It would leave a secret unveiled, a reality confronted, and a choice that could redefine both of our lives forever.